Hi guys, welcome back. Bitcoin is an innovative payment network and a new kind of money that is a growing trend. So why are so many investing in it? And what does its future hold? Joining me via Skype to help answer some of these questions is Bitcoin capitalist Anne Ahola Ward. Hi Anne, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I've got lots of questions to go through with you, so because to be honest with you, I'm completely lost with Bitcoin. So please explain to us, what is Bitcoin?
Well, I'm happy to help. No question is too small, so please keep the questions coming. So I think the best way to explain Bitcoin is that it's an alternate form of currency that is backed with it is backed with cryptography and mathematics instead of the Federal Reserve. So it functions similar to currency in that it can be traded for goods and services, but it is backed by a decentralized force known as the blockchain. So I think to understand Bitcoin, you kind of have to understand blockchain, which is a public decentralized ledger. So think of an accounting ledger that your company keeps, where there's a bookkeeper who's watching it tediously. Well, the blockchain is a way for everybody in the world to have visibility into the source of income. So what we've created, or what the Bitcoin world has created, is a way for people to trade currency with transparency and no central authority or banking authority to oversee, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand that a little bit better now. So tell me, what are some misconceptions about Bitcoin?
I think that Bitcoin had a really rough start because there were some bad players using the Silk Road scandal, Mt. Gox. There were a few exchanges that went under. And I think that there are a lot of misconceptions that Bitcoin is mainly used for fraud. I would argue that there are bad people who use regular money, just like there are bad people who are going to take advantage of the anonymity of Bitcoin. I don't think that that's the majority, at least not any longer.
Would you recommend to people they invest in Bitcoin or stay away from it?
I think that if you have an appetite for risk, and if you have a fair amount in your portfolio you feel comfortable being experimental with, I think it's a good idea. I don't like to think of Bitcoin as investment. I like to think of it as speculation, because you're really just investing in something that's not properly backed by something. So you're taking more of a risk, but the reward is also, I think, in many instances greater. So if you can afford to shave off, $1,500 or even $1,000 to start experimenting and see if it works for you, I think it's worth doing. But if that's your rent money, don't spend it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So what are some measures that individuals can take in order to avoid, I guess, there has to be some pitfalls, right, with this crypto. So what are some measures people can take?
Right, absolutely. Because there is no central authority over Bitcoin, we're kind of all on our own. But the good news is that there's a public element to everything that happens. So there's transparency. So I think a lot of people that have lost money have lost in exchanges or by not properly storing their Bitcoin. So there is a term called cold storage, where you actually can store your Bitcoin offline. So what I always recommend to people is to take a little bit of your Bitcoin and keep it in an exchange to kind of play with. And then if you have, more than $1,000 or an amount that you feel you need to protect, put it in what's called cold storage, which is a computer that is offline so that no one can access or hack it.
So I'm going to ask you to break out your crystal ball here now and give us a prediction of what Bitcoin will look like down the road.
Well, I definitely think that we're seeing adoption increase, not decrease. I know that there have been some market fluctuations that have scared away the people that were already a little tepid on it. I think that we're going to see some amazing things happening with blockchain. We already have in countries like Venezuela that have hyperinflation. It gives people a way to access money and make payments that doesn't take as big of a cut as a credit card would. You can send money to your family in other countries, and it doesn't have the percentage fees taken out of it like Western Union and other players do. So I think once the hurdles and the superhighway of information has been cleared so that people can enter more easily, I think that it's going to have wider adoption because, you know, the banking crisis of 2008 made a lot of people pretty upset. A lot of people lost their life savings. And so that is really what inspired this movement. And I think it's only going to continue. I think there's going to be a little bit of regulation because there needs to be. We're kind of in a wild, wild west scenario right now. And I think with a little bit of more regulation, we'll have more trust. And with more trust and more infrastructure, then we'll have higher adoption.
Wow, that's a mouthful. That's a lot to invest. Well, listen, Anne, I thank you so much for being on the show. I definitely have a much, a more understanding of the Bitcoin phenomenon that's been going on. So thank you for being on the show, okay?
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, take care. Bye. Okay, guys, still to come, we are cooking gluten-free. After the break, we head into the Healthy Living Kitchen with Chef Becky Geisel to serve up delicious gluten-free dishes you are sure to love. Stay tuned.